But if it is preached that Christ has been raised from the dead, how can some of you say that there is no resurrection of the dead? If there is no resurrection of the dead, then not even Christ has been raised. And if Christ has not been raised, our preaching is useless, and so is your faith. 1 Corinthians 15:12-14. 3 days after Jesus died on the cross, something happened that changed the trajectory of human history forever. The tomb was empty, death was defeated, and mankind received the greatest victory gift imaginable. Christ's resurrection wasn't just a miraculous event, it was the turning point that transformed everything for humanity. Romans 1:4 tells us Jesus was appointed the Son of God in power by his resurrection from the dead. First, the resurrection proved Christ's divinity. Anyone can claim to be God, but only God can conquer death. When Jesus walked out of that tomb, he validated every word he spoke and every promise he made. Second, it secured our justification. Romans 4:25 declares Christ was delivered over to death for our sins and was raised to life for our justification. His resurrection didn't just prove our sins were paid for, it guaranteed our right standing before God. Third, it guarantees our own resurrection. 1 Corinthians 15:20 calls Christ the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. Because he lives, we too shall live. Death no longer has the final word over those who believe. Fourth, it provides present power for living. Ephesians 1:19-20 speaks of his incomparably great power for us who believe, which he exerted when he raised Christ from the dead. The same power that raised Jesus from the grave is available to us today. The resurrection means hope for the hopeless, life for the lifeless, and victory for the defeated. It transforms mourning into dancing, despair into destiny, and graves into gateways. The question isn't whether the resurrection happened. The empty tomb and transformed lives of the disciples prove that. The question is, what will you do with this resurrection power available to you today? If you're facing impossible situations, remember you serve a God who specializes in resurrection. Share this message with someone who needs hope beyond the grave. Subscribe for more biblical truths that reveal God's power in our lives. And remember, because he lives, you can face tomorrow.